parents don't get them any toys. That inspired me to buy my kids a Christmas gift. And he had 3 boys, and for each, he ended up getting a gold and a silver. Whether the story of why to invest in gold triggers you to say, you know what, this is interesting, let me look into it. What you have to do is determine what's the purpose. What's the purpose of the investment? Let me ask you, what don't you want your investment to do? The answer is obvious if I ask the opposite, right? You don't want to lose. You don't want to be at the mercy of the market. It's not about just the market, it's also about purchasing power. Your job is to start to strategically position for this. Folks, do you think the operation of Hammer Midnights of back then and the Epic Fury, do you not see any connection? The government positioned itself for about 8 months. The first one was a drama. We learned 8 months for us to position to take all Navy and Air Force power there to position ourselves to win the war. We're not going to war to lose it, folks. Why are you letting your money go to war without strategically positioning? Because here's what I can tell you. If you think hope itself is a strategy, let me remind you, we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. This is your time. Grab the gold second cycle from that bull, grab it before it moves up. Get educated. First thing you got to do is call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. Because a well-informed investor is a prepared investor. Thanks for listening in. This is your host, Alex Sapkarian with The Elite Show. God bless and have a great weekend.
Allegiance Gold LLC is not a broker-dealer and does not provide investment, tax, or legal advisory services. Precious metals, like all investments, carry risk and are not suitable for all investors. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Please visit www.allegiancegold.com or call 844-790-9191 to speak with a representative for additional important information. Allegiance Gold was sponsored by Allegiance Gold.
AM 870, The Answer, is everywhere on the air in SoCal at AM 870 on your AM 870 smartphone app.
The advantage of modern technology.
And now on Amazon and Google Home speakers. Just ask for AM 870, The Answer.
Are you listening?
You know, life moves fast. Staying sharp, focused, and clear-headed isn't always easy. That's why the same company that brings you Relief Factor has developed something brand new, Think Factor. Think Factor is made to help you think clearer and perform better daily. It's a powerful blend of nutrients that unlocks mental clarity and precision, nurtures your memory, boosts your attention. With Think Factor, brain power and performance finally meet for lasting daily results. Supercharge your memory, mental sharpness. Your brain is your most valuable asset, powering your creativity, focus, and daily performance. If you're feeling mentally foggy, give it after a couple of weeks of taking Think Factor, it was a game changer for me. Look, the longer you take Think Factor, the better it works for you. If you've ever thought you want to be more clear, more focused, call 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF, or visit relieffactor.com to learn more and order Think Factor. Your first bottle is just $19.95. Think Factor. Think clearer, perform better daily. Call 800-4-RELIEF or visit relieffactor.com for Think Factor.
Daniel here from The Morning Answer, and the Southern California half-price tuition program is going on right now. Give your child or grandchild a quality private education with solid academics, fun activities, a safe learning environment, and the same conservative values you teach at home. Pay half the regular tuition, and AM 870 The Answer pays the rest. We still have great schools in your area, but they're going fast. Go to am870.info, select a school, and lock in your child's place today for the 26-27 school year. Visit am870.info.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to RedState.com today.
Portions of the following are pre-recorded.
KRLA, Glendale, AM 870, The Answer. Find us at am870theanswer.com. Download our apps, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv.
With SRN News, I'm Mary Rose. Iranian state TV says Mojtaba Khamenei, son of the country's late supreme leader, has been named his successor. He had long been considered a contender even before an Israeli strike killed his father at the start of the war. Police are investigating an explosion at the U.S. Embassy.
Norwegian police are looking for suspects and trying to determine a motive following an explosion outside the U.S. Embassy in Oslo. Investigators believe the embassy was targeted. Police received reports of a loud bang early Sunday morning. Investigators say it was caused by an incendiary device. There were no injuries. A U.S. official speaking anonymously says the device was inside a backpack and detonated outside an entrance to the embassy. Local media are reporting that people nearby say the street was blanketed in thick smoke after.
This is SRN.
Sage here. You know, Alex Abkarian of Allegiance Gold is a regular on my show, providing his financial wisdom as a former banker on the markets and on the economy. And I want you to hear how you'll be treated at Allegiance Gold from Hani, who serves as Alex's client success coordinator at Allegiance Gold.
I am the client success coordinator at Allegiance Gold. Alex has absolutely mentored me. You just give your absolute best to every single client. They get white glove service from Allegiance Gold and work with them over the years to allow that investment to continue to grow. I am extremely proud to work for Allegiance Gold, and I'm extremely proud of how we take care of our clients.
That's wonderful, honey. My friends, now you know why I enjoy being a client of Alex Abkarian at Allegiance Gold. Call Alex at 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191.
It's late at night. And then you hear, you've got a plumbing emergency on your hands. Who do you call at times like this? Well, you call Alex Torres at CSA Plumbing and Rooter, and you'll have an expert plumber at your house lickety-split. Call 818-674-0155. 818-674-0155. Alex answers his phone personally, anytime, day or night, 7 days a week. A broken pipe, overflowing toilet, or backed up drain? Alex, his team of expert plumbing technicians at CSA Plumbing and Rooter work night and day, licensed, bonded, insured. They're hardworking conservative patriots, and they'll do the job right and stand behind their work. Mention AM 870 with any job, get a free video drain inspection. You know they happen, those late night plumbing problems. Call Alex on his personal cell, 818-674-0155. CSA Plumbing and Rooter, 818-674-0155.
Don't miss cutting-edge coverage of daily news on the Alex Marlow podcast.
For so many years, we thought we would see terror. Is it a Muslim? Now we're starting to think, is it a trans person? And we've indulged all of this. It's completely our fault, self-inflicted wound. We've run so hard away from the science and towards insanity. They'll never stop. They will never be done. They will always try to take more. They will always try to create more chaos.
Subscribe to the Alex Marlow podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
This program is sponsored by Freedom Bound International.
In the hands of honest, patriotic people.
In support of the universal principles of truth, justice, and the eternal struggle for freedom for all people, this is the Global Freedom Report. You can be a part of the show by calling 866-870-5752. That's 866-870-KRLA. And now, the host of the Global Freedom Report, Brent Johnson.
They may take our lives, throw us in jail, steal our property, defame our character, but they cannot kill the truth. And for the next 2 hours, the truth is back in business. Freedom means never having to ask those people whom you have allowed to run your government for you for permission to do anything. That is the birthright of all Americans and all free people everywhere. This show is about truth, justice, and liberty. We'll also show you practical ways to live free in today's surveillance society and give you a good picture of how the globalist cancer is infecting the world and what you can do to stop it. Coming up on today's show, we will be joined by Kate Monroe of VetCom, which helps veterans receive benefits they've earned and works to get homeless vets into affordable housing. We will also speak with Steve Hilton, Republican candidate for California governor. Also, we'll bring you another invaluable edition of Lessons in Liberty, where you learn really useful things they never taught you in public school. And we will embark on our weekly journey into the dirty world of mind control and behavioral manipulation on Propaganda 101. That's all coming up on today's edition of the show. You can join us right now in our live chat room at www.globalfreedomreport.us or call us toll-free from anywhere in the United States and Canada at 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752 to go on the air. The Global Freedom Report is an important show. It is the only show in which truth is valued more than politics. We seek to reveal the truth about issues that matter to you concerning your freedom. We are politically unbiased. No other show does what we do. That is why it is so important that we stay on the air. To that end, we are asking you to help us maintain our financial viability by contributing to the show. We ask you to help us with donations. I promise that any funds you send us will go directly to the cost of keeping the show on the air. You may contribute any amount whatsoever. However, if you do contribute at least $250, you will receive a free copy of The American Sovereign: How to Live Free from Government Regulation. We'll write a special message to you and sign the book. If you contribute at least $500, then you will receive a copy of The American Sovereign and The Pursuit of Happiness, Freedom, and the Human Spirit. Again, both signed by me. For more, I will give you free airtime to promote your business or other activities. If you want more information, call us off the air at 888-385-3733, and we'll design a special plan to reward you for your contribution. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with today's edition of the Global Freedom Report.
Fighting for your freedom. This is the Global Freedom Report. We'll be right back.
What if you could live free from government regulation? What if you could learn how to lawfully opt out of taxes, eliminate personal liability, and travel in your vehicle without Big Brother watching over you? The American Sovereign: How to Live Free from Government Regulation reveals the truth about the American legal system, the U.S. Constitution, and shows how to protect your God-given rights. The American Sovereign provides information critical to all people who value liberty. This 250-page full-size paperback will change the way you live and teach you how to reclaim control over your life. The American Sovereign: How to Live Free from Government Regulation is available through Freedom Bound International. Call them toll-free at 888-385-3733. That's 888-385-FREE. Or visit their website at freedomradio.us. The American Sovereign: How to Live Free from Government Regulation is the #1 book on sovereignty in the world. Get your copy today.
And welcome back to the Global Freedom Report. I am your host, Brent Johnson. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Our question for the week: how do you feel about the United States government's relationship with the state of Israel? How do you feel about the U.S. government's relationship with the state of Israel? If you'd like to chime in on that, the toll-free number is 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. A couple in California say their worst nightmare was confirmed after they captured their roommate on surveillance video spraying their food with poison. Timothy Bradbury, 42, was arrested by the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station on Tuesday, February 24th, in the alleged poisoning. Billy Sonhopper and her husband, David, told ABC7 they saw security footage that captured their roommate, Bradbury, spraying their food and kitchen appliances. He was spraying stuff all over our groceries, our fruit, our vegetables, our coffee pot that we use every morning, and our whole pantry full of our chips and cereal, all of our canned goods and spices, everything. He sprayed it all over everything, Sonhopper told the local outlet. The video shows the suspect in a blue hoodie and gas mask spraying the kitchen with a blue bottle. David Sonhopper said the couple's suspicions were raised during a recent ER visit when doctors told them blood work suggested possible poisoning. That is what led the couple to check the cameras the landlord had installed in the home. On the video, we found that besides all the other things that he's done in the year that we've lived here, he was spraying something. We weren't sure if it was rat poison, wasp spray, or what. The couple said they have long struggled with their roommate, sharing that in the past, he allegedly tried to set the house on fire and cut up the couple's clothing. The Sonhoppers shared that they had turned to the police before but didn't have evidence until the surveillance video. It's been hell living with him this past year. It's been horrible, David Sonhopper said after Bradbury's arrest. With her health issues, we were extremely concerned. We're just tired. We've been living with so much stress. We don't want to be in fear anymore. We're tired of it. We just want to be safe, said Billy Sonhopper. On February 24th, police officers arrived at the home, but the suspect refused to exit. After deputies were informed by family members that Bradbury suffers from a mental health disability, they recruited the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department mental evaluation team to help detain the suspect. After 2 hours, Bradbury voluntarily left the house. Investigators then executed a search warrant and recovered physical evidence. Bradbury was arrested on charges of willful poisoning of food, drink, medicine, or water with the intent to cause injury. I don't even know what to say about this. Can you believe this? You know, we're always hearing about all the crises du jour, whatever the dangerous situation of the day is. And every day it's something, and every day it's something that if we don't deal with it, you're going to die. That's the message we're constantly getting. Then this story comes across my desk. I wanted you to know about it because this took place right here in the Los Angeles region. And many of you who are listening to this show or watching it on the live stream are from that region. But it doesn't mean it can't happen elsewhere either. So you've got some kind of roommate, and you really haven't checked out this roommate. You only find out what this roommate is about after living with him for a year. I don't know how you prepare for or deal with this situation. This man was spraying poison on the Sonhoppers' food, water, coffee pot, cereal, cookies, whatever. The only solution I know of is you don't let people have access to your food. You don't let people have access to what's yours. If that means that you get a lockable refrigerator and you keep all your stuff in the refrigerator, a lockable pantry so that your roommate cannot use it, cannot do anything with it, then that's what you do. It's horrible that you are faced with this type of situation. It's really horrible. You know, I've been saying for 30 years we are living in an insane asylum, and you didn't believe me when I said it back then, and today it's showing up. Okay, we are living in an insane asylum, and most of the people in the country, in the world, are inmates in that asylum. These people are nuts. They're psychotic. They're crazy. They don't believe in God. They don't have any system of values. And either they're too stupid or they simply have no conscience and don't care what they do to other people. You know, I just read a story. I'll be editing it for posting probably next week. But I just read a story about a couple of people who are sitting in jail. They've been in jail for 20 years now. They murdered a young woman. Why? Because they were fans of the movie Scream. They were horror movie fans, and they thought it would be a real cool thing to kill somebody using the Scream technology. I'm not kidding you. I'll have the story ready for posting on my website by next week. We are living in insane times, and you need to take extra special steps to protect your life and protect your liberty and protect your property. We'll be right back with VetCom, Veterans' Rights, here on the Global Freedom Report. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Global Freedom Report. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to awaken to the truth? Birthright, Born Free, Live Free is the award-winning documentary shaking audiences across America. And now you can host a screening in your community, either in person or virtually. Visit birthrightthemovie.com and select Host a Screening. Hosts can sell tickets and keep a portion of the proceeds or purchase a license to offer a free event. Birthright, because freedom isn't free and silence is surrender.
Freedom Fever.
It is not true that the function of law is to regulate our consciences, our ideas, our wills, our education, our opinions, our work, our trade, our talents, or our pleasure. The function of law is to protect the free exercise of these rights and to prevent any person from interfering with the free exercise of these same rights by any other person.
Freedom Fever. Pass it on.
I was born in a welfare state, ruled by bureaucracy, controlled by civil servants and people dressed in grey. Got no privacy, got no liberty, 'cause the 20th century people took it all away from me.
And welcome back to the Global Freedom Report. I am your host, Brent Johnson. A proud United States Marine Corps veteran, Kate Monroe, took her oath to defend this nation and turned it into a lifetime mission of action, not rhetoric. As founder and CEO of VetCom, she has helped more than 27,000 veterans secure over $12 billion in Veterans Administration disability benefits they earned through sacrifice and service. While others talk about supporting veterans, Kate delivers results measured in real dollars and restored dignity. By her early career, Kate had already appeared on national and international media more than 800 times, with her voice and message seen billions of times worldwide. Her leadership and unapologetic convictions have been featured on Fox News, USA Today, The New York Post, The Times, Washington Examiner, One American News Network, Newsmax, Dr. Phil, Daily Mail, Victory News, National Newswire Services, and more. She made headlines when she personally helped shut down illegal crossings by installing razor wire at the southern border, proving she doesn't wait for permission when action is required. Kate stepped into the political arena as a congressional candidate because she believes California deserves fighters, not placeholders. Her best-selling book, The Race to Save California, lays out a bold blueprint to restore law and order, protect taxpayers, defend American sovereignty, and return constitutional leadership to a state that has lost its way. Kate doesn't just confront power in politics, she exposes it on screen. As executive producer and lead actress of the political thriller The Body Man, she pulls back the curtain on the corruption, backroom deals, and political machinery that most Americans only suspect exists. Kate Monroe stands at the intersection of service, strength, and fearless accountability, and she is not asking for a seat at the table. She is rebuilding it. Kate Monroe, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Global Freedom Report. How
so
are you,
happy
Kate?
to be here. That was a mouthful. Thank you.
Well, you know, I consider you my guest, and it's only appropriate that I introduce my guest in a proper way. And I have to say, I first saw you just like last week, the week before, I saw you on One American Network right after the State of the Union. And I was very, very touched and very impressed with you. And I said, I have to see if I can get Kate Monroe on this show. So thank you so much for joining me. When you originally took your military oath, do you recall exactly what you said? What were the words of your oath? What did it mean for you to promise to defend this nation?
Well, I think when I first took my oath, it reminded me of that Bible verse, that you really couldn't love people more than that you would lay your life down for a friend. And that's really what it still means to me to this day.
Okay, very fair. Good start. Now, you founded an organization called VETCOM, and you were its CEO. What is the mission of VETCOM, and why did you find it necessary to even start the organization? Did you believe that veterans were not being treated fairly? Is that why you started VETCOM? I would imagine that veterans were being treated as defenders of this country, and so it seemed to me that there would be no need for an organization like VETCOM, yet you obviously saw otherwise. Could you explain your motivations?
Yeah, as a Marine Corps veteran myself, I was assaulted in the service. I crushed my nose, my eye socket, my elbow, my right ankle, all of my feelings totally shattered. And I ended up getting out of the service really with nothing because I was sort of shooed away like a broken toy. And then years and years later, I actually opened a car dealership and I put veteran owned and operated. And I had hundreds of veterans come to buy a car from me. I was the only dealership open during COVID. And after helping about 200 people, I realized I hadn't met a person that was getting compensated fairly. And it turns out that there was 3 big reasons why. And I said, I'm a problem solver. I'm going to solve this for veterans. And I just sort of went to war for them in 2020. And it took us the first 3 years of building the company to really get traction, to convince people that we were the good guys and there was an easier, better way to do it than trying to do it for free, which could be very costly. And so, it's my life's work to keep everybody above the ground and ensure that they prosper.
Well, I have to tell you, my least favorite thing to do is to deal with bureaucrats. And boy, have you tackled, boy, have you tackled a bastion of bureaucrats. So my hat goes off to you because I don't think that I could do what you do without absolutely having conniptions on a regular basis. And maybe you do, but if you do,
I do.
you certainly don't let it just yeah, you certainly don't let it distract you. Yes, I can only imagine. It's kind of like talking to a wall. I would think you've had your share of experiences. In your bio, you said your unapologetic convictions have been seen and heard on hundreds of media outlets. What exactly do you mean by that? What do you mean by unapologetic convictions?
Well, I think people always want to water down the message and they want to, bevel the edges of what they actually think and feel. And I figured, there's people out there, millions of people that voted, one way that might have voted for Trump that feel very convicted about stuff, but they're made to feel small and to cower down and to water down everything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be the voice of the people. And it just so happens to turn out that became very popular. And I've been seen billions of times. I get shared. I go viral almost every single week because I somehow became the voice of those who found themselves voiceless.
Now, okay, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people out there who have podcasts and who have a voice in media and who go out there and they're looking to, expose this and reveal that and whatever else. But they don't necessarily most of them probably don't have the results that you have. So what is different about Kate Monroe? What sets Kate Monroe aside from anybody else who feels that, I want to help the veterans?
Well, I think two big things about me, growing up a Christian person, I have a lot of resolve. I know that God has laid a path before me, that victory is mine, and it's my job to arrive on time to claim it. So I always operate on a daily that I am doing the right thing, going the right direction, and I feel very empowered in what I am doing. And I also just feel like, as a Marine Corps veteran, if I decided to say, hey, I'm going to step in for veterans, it's my job to arrive violently on my battlefield every single day and kick ass and take names and make sure that we keep these guys safe and that we get them funded and, that we keep them headed in the right direction.
I got to tell you, you're in my short list of people I want on my team, because what I do is I really push the envelope, but I do it in a credible way, okay? And I do not take no for an answer. When somebody comes up and says, I can't get my veterans benefits and everything, and there's nothing I can do, and they're taking away my freedom, I come back and I say, no. Nobody's taking away your freedom. All they're doing is violating your freedom, violating your rights. And when they do that, you have to ask yourself a question. What am I going to do about it? I do stuff about it. Clearly, you do stuff about it. And I have to say, my evaluation up to this point, and it's only been a few minutes, is that you are genuine and you are authentic. And that's what makes the difference. You make a difference because you really mean what you say. Have you found that to be the case with the people you're out there to speak with, or even with the bureaucrats you have to deal with? Have you found your genuineness to be picked up by those other people?
Oh, for sure. I think, people can watch you do a 1-minute roast on social media, or you might sort of tear somebody apart, which is part of my brand, and then think you to be only one dimensional. But then faced with you in person, they have to take a look at everything. And, it was funny, NPR, this is a good example. They reached out and said, hey, Kate, we'd like to take you down to the border. This was around the turn of Trump getting in the second time. And they said, hey, we're going to try to be fair with you, but, we're NPR and all. And I said, hey, you got to do what you got to do, but just do me this favor, go down to the border, actually look with your own eyes, listen to me, listen to my heart, and then you can go ahead and write or put out a story based on what you see. And after going out with me, after going to church with me, after facing a family, yeah.
And let me interrupt because we got a hard break coming up right now. I want to actually pick up on that when we get to the other side. My guest is Kate Monroe. We'll be back after these words.
This is where the truth matters. The Global Freedom Report. Don't go away. Brent will return in a moment.
A common law pure trust organization is the most powerful asset protection device available. Pure trusts have been around in the USA since 1790 when Patriot Patrick Henry created the first one. Pure trusts establish ironclad protection for real property, vehicles, businesses, and just about anything else. A pure trust creates a wall of privacy over its assets, reduces personal liability, and protects property from attachment. Freedom Bound International has been creating pure trusts for over 35 years, and none of their trusts have ever been successfully attacked. Call today at 888-385-FREE. That number again is 888-385-3733. Or visit their website at freedomradio.us for information and applications for their pure trusts. Freedom Bound International, dedicated to the preservation of personal freedom, privacy rights, and the principles enshrined in the Declaration of Independence.
The Answer. Breaking news.
California has seen its largest spike in gas prices since the start of the conflict in Iran. The cost of a gallon of regular gas went up 17 cents in the state overnight, according to AAA. The price is now above $5 a gallon to $5.08, and more than 15 counties in the state crossed the $5 mark overnight, including LA, Orange, San Diego, San Jose, Riverside, Ventura, and Oakland. Larry Marino on The Answer with breaking news and talk you can trust.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
I'm talking with investment fraud attorney Adam Satnick. We've all lost money in the market, but could losing a lot of money signal fraud?
Yes, Dave. People are victims of financial misconduct all the time, but they don't realize it. It's often a matter of simply looking at brokerage account statements and what investments a broker has put their money into. We find that sometimes the broker has invested without their knowledge or permission. People have lost a bunch of their money and had no idea why. We hold their brokers accountable. We hold their feet to the fire.
If you're losing money and don't know why, could it be that your broker sold you unsuitable investments or put their own commission interests ahead of yours? Go to stopyoursteal.com. Stopyoursteal.com. Call 888-358-4547. 888-358-4547.
Investment fraud attorneys Rosenberger, Kawabata, Satnick, and Lau. We hold bad brokers accountable.
Stopyoursteal.com. Rosenberger and Kawabata, 475 Washington Boulevard, Marina Del Rey, California, 90292.
Daniel here from The Morning Answer, and the Southern California half-price tuition program is going on right now. Give your child or grandchild a quality private education with solid academics, fun activities, a safe learning environment, and the same conservative values you teach at home. Pay half the regular tuition, and AM 870 The Answer pays the rest. We still have great schools in your area, but they're going fast. Go to am870.info, select the school, and lock in your child's place today for the 26-27 school year. Visit am870.info.
This is Michael Bolden with the 10th Amendment Center, standing up for your liberty through decentralization and the Constitution. You are listening to Brent Johnson and the Global Freedom Report.
I don't want to be a martyr. No, I want to live. I want a home and children and peace. Do you? I do. I've asked God for those things. It's all for nothing if you don't have freedom.
Now fight the fight for liberty once more. I believe if right is right, it's still worth fighting for.
And welcome back to the Global Freedom Report. I am your host, Brent Johnson. My guest is Kate Monroe, CEO of VetCom, dedicated to helping veterans get justice for all that they have done for the rest of us. Kate, welcome back. What were the challenges you encountered in your efforts to bring justice to veterans? I mean, why was it an uphill battle for you? Again, like I said at the beginning, to me, okay, these are people who've risked their lives for the rest of us. Okay, why did you have an uphill battle? What did you come across when you started to work on this?
Yeah, when I started to work on this, it was almost like when you enter a hoarder's house, there's so much to do. So the magnitude of the problem is so large, you sort of go, where do I start? And I said, hey, I got to start by delivering veteran by veteran by veteran. I can't look at the, 14 million people that are collecting nothing and just freak out and try to tackle that whole thing. I got to start small and then grow big. And I think what I found and what changed the game for me and for my company was realizing that the VA in many ways is just an insurance company. And being an insurance company, they don't want to pay you. So in order to not pay you, they'll prey on your anxiety. They will put roadblocks in front of you. They will make insurmountable paperwork. They will deny you first to see if you'll go away. And a lot of veterans say if they didn't have VetCom's help, they might have just taken their ball and go home, never to play the game again. So I feel like it's our job. Like our logo is a shield for a reason. We put that shield out there and we kick in the door and we let veterans go in and get what they are owed safely and soundly. And it shouldn't be that difficult. You're correct, but it is, in fact, that hard.
It's interesting that you bring that up. I remember a movie, for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a movie and it was a true story. I believe it was either Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves as the star. And the story was about, in the 1940s, a lawyer who took on an insurance company. And what he found was that this insurance company had a policy of denying any claim, no matter what, all the time. You could have the most perfect claim, the greatest evidence, everything. It didn't matter. Their policy was a first-time denial on the premise that if they did that, some people would just go away. Exactly what you just said. Some people would just go away. Now, he won the case. It was a major thing. Okay, and this happened in the 1940s. But to hear you say that, it conjures up exactly the same thing. And what I realize is that you're dealing with bureaucrats. And I wrote an article on this called The Bureaucratic Profile. Bureaucrats, no matter where they're from, no matter the country, no matter whether with the government or the banks, it doesn't matter. Bureaucrats all have the same profile. They are the product of their training. They can do no more and no less than what they are trained to do. And if they are trained to say, no, we're going to deny it, then that's what they're going to say for sure. Wow. Okay. I'm going to see if I can find out the name of that movie, and I'm going to send it to you on email because it's right up your alley. It's exactly what you just described. Wow, just amazing. So you end up having to deal with a VA bureaucrat. You've got a client. Okay, the client has been denied his or her, benefits to whatever amount of money under whatever set of circumstances. They come out and they say, "Well, I'm sorry, our policy is that we're not going to pay this." What do you do?
Yeah. Well, there's actually two schools of thought. What you just said is that people come to us in a state of denial. But half the people do is actually come to us never having made a claim. So there's this sort of false narrative that everyone is denied. Veterans tend to deny themselves, so they are complicit in their failure. If you don't even make a claim, you can't be mad that you're not winning said claim. So we always tell veterans, hey, stop watching all this educational content. Stop doing all this if you're not going to make a claim, because you're just getting more analysis paralysis. Now, for the guys who are denied, we look at what they have and we say, hey, you tried to go in the front door. There's a back door. There's a slider door. There's a chimney like Santa. There's windows. And we create a new plan, a new strategy, and we execute it. And typically, If somebody were listening to us right now, in less than 4 months, they could be up to $4,000 a month richer. So if they've been waiting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, today may be their day.
Wow. So you basically you give them hope. You give them, you're basically inspiring them, okay? Which again is like, I want you on my team. Absolutely 100%. You are phenomenal. I'm so glad to have you on the show here, and I know that my listeners listening to you are themselves inspired. There are a lot of people here who are veterans or who know veterans, who have veterans. I actually, just the other day, I was talking to a friend of mine. I told her who was going to be on the show, and she said, "Oh, I have this friend who's been going through this stuff with VA." And I said, "Okay, I will send you the website. You have him get in touch, because these people are going to help make it right." Now, you mentioned that you helped shut down illegal crossings by installing razor wire at the southern border. How'd you get involved in that? Tell me about that situation, please.
I know it does sound so absurd, but what was going on at the time is I decided to run for Congress in California's 49th district. And then you go out and you start talking to people. They say, "Hey, Kate, you know what? We see you on the news. We like you a whole lot. You're a good speaker, a genuine lady. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do about the border?" And I said, "Man, that's a really good question, because it's that huge problem. Where do you even start?" And I said, "You know what? Let me see if I can get on Amazon and order some razor wire," because I had just the same week saw that 60 Minutes where there was hundreds of people coming around the end of the wall here in San Diego. And I said, "Well, I'm going to go up and see if I can find the Border Patrol, see if they'll tell me where this hole is." And sure enough, they did. And I patched it up. It turned into worldwide news. We did 3 more spots, had the border vets formed. I had tons of veterans out with me. It was like striking a match in a dead forest. I think it made people go, "Wow, we don't have to go quietly into the night." And it was a big boon, to my media career, because it set me apart from other people. A lot of people like to say, "Hey, there's a problem." I said, "Great, there's a problem. I'm going to show you that we everyday regular people could go fix it."
Well, and every week on the show, near the end of the show, I will always say, "What are you willing to do to protect and preserve your liberty? And what are you not willing to do to protect and preserve that same liberty?" And, the idea is that when you ask a question, anybody who hears the question, automatically, it's a reflex. You have to think about it. You have to consider it. You want to know how to change the world, you ask a question. And I put people on the spot that way. Okay, you talk about your freedom, you talk about your rights. What are you willing to do to defend it? What happens if somebody comes up and says you can't do that? If somebody comes up and says, we think that the most compassionate thing is to have the borders open and let everybody and anybody come in, because we, meaning the people of the United States, have, and they, meaning the people trying to come in, don't have as much. And so the proper thing is, this is pure communism. The proper thing is for us to open our doors to them. And inevitably, those of us who believe that, we and by the way, I think most people would say, "Hey, if they need to or want to come and avail themselves of us, let them come in legally." Nobody is arguing. I would assume you're not arguing against that. Nobody I know of will argue against that. They want to come in legally and they want to contribute to our society. That's fine. But when people just come in and they want to take advantage and they want to take from the American people, okay, and not give back, and they do it illegally, which means they're criminals, I think that's a whole different scenario. So in the end, the question of, just open borders, closed borders, secure borders, whatever it is, the whole question is, what are you willing to do about it? And you have already shown your willingness to do things about it. And again, I feel Honored to know you. Now,
Thank you.
reportedly, you recently bought out others involved with VetCom. That's my understanding, and you took complete control of the organization. What prompted that? Were people you work with not as
Well,
dedicated as you, or was there
no,
a problem?
now that's actually not what happened at all. What really happened was I founded the company in 2020. We were going to do a reverse, and I at one point was a public company CEO. I can't share too much, but there was a hostile takeover where they essentially tried to steal my company, and I was able to win it back. It was a foreign power that did this to me. But as I said, I will arrive violently on my field of battle. I'm not easily overtaken. And during this time, we grew the company by 10x. We went from helping 7,000 people a year to 24,000 people a year. I had 90 employees. Now I have 230 employees. I will not be taken off course, not by anyone, not by any powers that be.
And I'll bet you all those 200 employees love working with you and love working for you. I will bet you. Yes, yes. There we go.
Yes, they
Okay,
do.
we got one more break. We got one more break. I know that you have a commitment coming up. Okay, at the top of the hour, I will
Yep.
have us done before we get to the top of the hour. I promise you that. But we do have to take one more break. We'll be back with Kate Monroe here on the Global Freedom Report. Stay tuned.
From coast to coast and around the world, this is the Global Freedom Report, and we'll be back in a minute.
Freedom Bound International is a common law service center specializing in asset protection. For more than 35 years, they've helped people free themselves from government control. Their common law Pure Trust organization successfully protects property from confiscation, claims, liens, and judgments. None of their trusts have ever been successfully attacked. The Private Interest Foundation holds assets internationally, distributes funds privately, and does so anonymously. Their stealth LLCs let you set up banking as privately as possible. They offer books, CDs, DVDs, and a variety of products and services designed to teach you how to live free from Big Brother. Call them today at 888-385-FREE. That number again is 888-385-3733. Or visit their website at freedomradio.us. Freedom Bound International, dedicated to the preservation of personal freedom, privacy rights, and the principles enshrined in the Declaration of Independence.
There was once a dream. You could only whisper it. Anything more than a whisper, and it would vanish. It was so fragile. And I fear that it will not survive the winter. Let us whisper now, together, you and I. I will empower you to one end alone, to give power back to the people and end the corruption. Would you accept this great honor that I have offered you? With all my heart, no. That is why it must be you. You have not been corrupted by our politics.
Network news makes the people snooze. Watch the liars speak tonight. Distorted views keep them all confused. See the liars speak tonight.
And welcome to the Global Freedom Report. I'm your host, Brent Johnson. My guest is Kate Monroe of VetCom. We're talking about veterans' rights and veterans' justice and a bunch of other things as well concerning your rights and your freedoms. And it's just good to know that there are people like Kate Monroe out there acting and working on behalf of us all. Kate, you ran for Congress to represent California. Now,
Yeah.
that's a tough environment. That's unless you're a devout Marxist, that is a tough environment. What did you learn about California politics from your run for Congress?
Well, I learned a few things. One, that in running for politics, it's mostly a grift. You know, the people that run your campaigns, for the most part, all the people that do the mail and the texting and the calls and all the fundraisers, they just charge a lot of money and they don't really do that much for you, quite frankly. So that it's like its own industrial complex, politics is. And then the next thing is, here in California, I would not say that our elections are fair. It's very clear that there is some rigging of our elections, the way in which they do it. I mean, we just passed Prop 50 as if it already wasn't one sided. We went ahead and made it even more for the left. And so it was very disheartening, but it was still worth the doing because it needs to be done. I would like to have seen me go farther. I think if there had been less people in the pack, I would have got to the end. And I think that I could have been somebody who could have overtaken Mike Levin. I feel sad that I think we might have lost that seat. There's not a big star rising to take it. But I get to say forever that I was a congressional candidate. And I may do it again in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think anywhere you did it, at least in all due respect, I think it will be an uphill battle, because the one thing that disappears in politics is the truth. And I get that you believe in truth, and that means you have an uphill battle. And